Hi everyone, it's Ella from Ella Web Design and welcome to my podcast from 0 to 25K for women who wants to have a better work-life balance, who wants to work from home and have a profitable business. And today we continue our theme, so how to generate more leads for your website, because we all know that website doesn't work if we don't have any traffic, if nobody can see it. And today we will be talking about one strategy, which is generating leads through YouTube videos. And we're joined by an expert, Melissa Mitchell, a YouTube video lead generation expert. Hi, Melissa, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Emil, for accepting the invitation and for being with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Melissa, maybe let's start. Let's maybe introduce yourself properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Melissa Mitchell, and I'm the owner of Wanderment Creative. So we are a YouTube strategy agency and coaching business, and we help entrepreneurs bring in consistent organic leads through YouTube without wasting time posting endless content on social media.
Great, great. So you are the person we need.
Yes.
Okay, let's get to the question. I prepared some questions for you. So first, maybe tell us how long are you in online business and how you found yourself in the online business? How you decided that you want to start a business online?
Yeah, so I started my business in 2018, I believe, end of 2018. But I was still working my corporate job at the time. And then I kind of went full-time right before the pandemic, so 2020-ish, went full-time into YouTube. So before that, I was doing social media and branding. That's actually what I went to college for. And that's what I was doing in the corporate world as well. I was doing graphic design, sales, marketing, all that stuff. And I was in corporate for about 6 years before that. So I started my business because one, I wanted the freedom. It was something I've always kind of wanted to do since I was pretty young, was, be my own boss. And, it sounded really exciting when you were little. But I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't think that, I was going to be doing YouTube. I kind of just thought, oh, I'll do branding. I've always liked pretty things. That's why I went into it in college. And then along the way, as I kind of started doing social media for people, I realized that I really didn't like managing people's social media accounts. It just wasn't for me. And so I still liked the marketing aspect of it. I still liked the branding part of it. But all of my clients, social media clients, had the same problems. It was one, they didn't have enough content for me to post. And so I was always trying to track them down, being like, can you get me some more pictures or things like that? And then the second problem was they were never bringing in enough leads into their business. And so when I was kind of researching how I wanted to pivot my business, I found YouTube. And so I was like, let's play around with this for my own business. Let's learn. And so when I realized that it could solve both of those problems together and some, I kind of made the pivot and moved and was coached by some of the big YouTubers out there and kind of just turned my business completely over to YouTube.
Brilliant, brilliant. And tell me, how long it took you to get from 0 to 25K?
25K per year or per month?
In general, the
in
first
general,
25K.
Yeah, the first 25K a year was probably in my first year. I got that goal for sure. 25K month, I'm not quite there, almost, but not quite there.
No, it's like, it's very, I think the most difficult is to get the first 25K. Like when you're starting from zero, it's very difficult to have consistent income, and even to get to this 25, it's very difficult. I think it's the most difficult part, because later on scaling your business is much easier. Growing your business is much easier than this starting point. It's overwhelming.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me, how was with your first 25K? Have you grow your business like steadily, gradually, or you have nothing, and then there was boom? You take off.
Yeah, that's a great question. Pardon me. I definitely am more of a steady pace kind of person, just because, I like to not feel overwhelmed by my business. I like to, live my life and work my business around my life. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to start my business. So I've always kept that in mind as I'm growing and I'm scaling, making sure that I'm not taking on too many clients at once, or I'm not overextending myself, or, making sure I leave myself enough room to hire on if that's, the spot that I'm in. So I would say definitely gradually. Maybe, one day it'll explode and I'll have to deal with it at that point, but it's definitely been gradual growth over time.
Yeah. And what is the biggest lesson you have learned from your business?
Oh my goodness, so many lessons. I would say the biggest one is probably
especially from this beginning starting phase,
Yeah, I would definitely say the biggest one is overthinking and like perfectionism, especially at the beginning. I felt like, and maybe people listening to this who are starting their business feel the same way, is there's so much pressure because maybe you have other responsibilities, or maybe you're doing this as a side hustle right now, or maybe you're just went full time and you feel the pressure to make your business successful, and so you overthink every decision you make. And that was definitely what I did too, is is this the right strategy, is this content right? And by doing that, you're actually like putting yourself in a lock, or like in a hold down of not taking action and not making progress. So I think that would be the biggest mistake, is just not taking action, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because when you overthink the things and you want to make it perfect, you're just spinning in circles all the time and you're not moving forward. Yeah. Okay, now let's move to YouTube. You specialize in YouTube. So why did you choose video over the blog and to market your business?
Yeah, so video, I like to say, is the queen of all content, because you have visuals, you have, you can hear, right? You can pull the audio from it, put it into a podcast, and you can also transcribe it and put it into a blog. So it really is going to do more for you than just a blog will. And really, it's the same amount of work, really. Like, you put together a blog post, all you have to do is hit the record button and record it from there, right? So you're just getting way more out of it. And so I think that in business, we have limited time, especially as when you're just first starting out, you don't have a team, you're doing it on your own. You want to make content that's going to work for you the most and that you can do the most with. So from one YouTube video, you can break that down into almost 26 pieces of content. So if you think about that and you're thinking about, okay, if I can create one piece of content per week and have that create more than enough content for the entire month, I mean, that's pretty amazing.
And what about the audience? Who is on YouTube?
Yeah, so YouTube has 2 billion viewers, sorry, per year, which is pretty crazy. And it's 90%, I want to say, I don't have the quote right in front of me, but I believe it's 90% of the world at some point has watched YouTube, which is also really crazy. And it's in most languages across the world, in most countries across the world. So your audience, I mean, depending on where you are, it's pretty global. So that's a pretty cool thing too.
But do you have any statistics? What kind of people are watching? Are the younger people, or older people, or mid-aged people, or men but more, or women more? Is there any statistics like this? Do you know?
Yeah, the cool thing about YouTube is it doesn't really have those kinds of statistics, because it's not like Facebook or Instagram, right? Where those are social media platforms. So, we all know Facebook's usually an older generation, millennials to older, right? We know Instagram was usually millennials, maybe Gen Zs, right? But because YouTube isn't a social media channel, it's actually a search engine, everyone at some point will be using YouTube. There's probably statistics of, how many people are watching cat videos versus, actually looking on there to solve a problem. But every age group is looking to YouTube because it's owned by Google. They're looking there to find answers to their problems.
Right. And even when you are searching through Google, I think Google is pulling from YouTube as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like the ultimate goal.
Yeah. In search results, you can see that there's a YouTube video suggested to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like blog, because it also works for a Google search as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, if you have a blog, you can just, like I said, reverse engineer it, film your YouTube video, put your YouTube video on your blog too, right? Because then it's creating more traffic you're getting traffic sources from 2 different places as well.
Yeah. So this is what I'm doing.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm filming one video, and then I'm doing a transcript and transform the transcript into blog on my website, and I'm taking audio and I'm putting to my podcast, because I know we have different clients, like different people, like different channels. Like some people prefer to listen, some prefer to watch, some prefer to read. So how we can generate the leads from YouTube video?
Yeah. So we think about YouTube as a search engine, right? Mm-hmm. So you first think about your ideal client and what problems, fears, pains they have, right? So how are you going to help them get from their bad state to where they want to be, their goal, right? That's the customer journey, right? And so if we think about their pain state, and we know that YouTube is a search engine, now we can start to think of ideas of, okay, what questions would my ideal client be searching for related to the state that they're in currently, the pain, the problems, the questions that they have when it comes to my service, product, whatever it is you sell. You compile that list of ideas, and then you're going to want to do keyword research around those ideas so that YouTube can actually put your video in front of the right people when they're searching. And so once someone finds your video on YouTube, you present your material, and there's a structured way that we would want to do that I teach inside of my programs and I do for my clients, where we're introducing them to a freebie or something like that, some more value. And you say, click the link below this video to get that. They then go there, click that link. They now join your email list, and you're now going to nurture them through your sales funnel on the back end of your YouTube videos.
Yeah, and this is a chance when you have a sign-up form for your freebie on your website, you are bringing people to your website this way. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's go into nitty-gritty. So my next question, how many, when you can expect your first leads from your videos? Do you need any number of videos uploaded and watched to get on your channel to start getting results?
You don't need a certain number per se. I mean, it's like any kind of strategy, you want to be consistent with it, right? When you're first starting out your channel, YouTube has no idea who you are as a channel, what your channel is about, who they should show your videos to. So the more that you post and the more that you can optimize those videos and put the right keywords in, it's going to have a compounding effect. So YouTube's going to start to understand, okay, this is what this person's channel is about. This is who they're trying to reach. These are the topics they talk about, and you'll start to grow quicker, right?
So it's better to keep the one topic. It's better to stay with one your expertise.
For sure. I would definitely say you want to keep it niched, especially at the beginning, because like I said, YouTube's trying to figure out what you are. So for example, if, I started talking about YouTube video, like YouTube on my YouTube channel, and then I started talking about cars, and then I started talking about cooking all in one channel, they would be like, what is this person trying to do, right? Who is she trying to attract? It would be confusing. But, on my channel, for example, I talk about social media marketing. I talk about YouTube. I talk about landing pages and funnels. It's because it's all within one niche, like one kind of topic area. So you can widen out a little bit. Like if you're an Instagram expert, you don't have to just talk about Instagram, but I would keep it 1 degree of separation.
Yeah. And what do you use to do your SEO search, keyword search?
Yeah, so there's quite a few different tools out there. You can use things like vidIQ, TubeBuddy. You can use just the Google search bar. It itself auto-populates to show you keywords. So there's quite a few different tools out there to do it.
Is it working the same as when you're looking for keywords for your website, for example?
Very similar. Yeah. So keywords are keywords, right? And because Google's owned by YouTube, it's very similar, right? And what's cool about that too is once you do your keyword research for YouTube, you can use the exact same keywords on your blog, and it's going to surface the same way, right? You can use the tags and things for your metadata on the back end of your SEO on your website. Like the two do go together. It would just be the optimization when uploading that's different.
Yeah. And would you suggest to keep the same title for your YouTube video if somebody is proposing the content, right? So would you suggest to keep the same title for podcast, for blog, and for your YouTube video, or change it?
I would.
I would.
It won't
make confusion to Google?
I don't think so, because the medium's different, right? They can understand, their bots are crawling the metadata, knowing that one's coming from YouTube, one's coming from a blog. Now, the one thing I would keep in mind, if your YouTube video, because of the way that keyword research works on YouTube, sometimes the titles aren't as blog-like, if you will.
Right.
So you could change a couple things around to make it more reader friendly in terms of a blog if you wanted to, but I would keep the keywords in there, right? The same keywords.
And what is the most important, the title or the description of the video?
Definitely the title. Definitely the title. Yeah, that's definitely where your main keywords in search are going to come from. The description has, it needs to be optimized as well, for sure, but the title is definitely more important.
And is it the same as on the website? So on the website, the most important in your headline to have the keywords at the beginning of your headline, or it doesn't matter, it just should be in the title, or it's better to have it at the front?
So definitely front loading is a strategy that works on YouTube as well, definitely. It's all going to depend on how big your channel is, how much competition is out there for those keywords you're trying to rank. That's going to determine kind of what your title looks like.
Do you think YouTube is good for all the categories, for all the sectors, for all the businesses? Or there are businesses that are more popular, or they are more more popular on the YouTube? So for example,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I definitely think there are areas or niches that work better, that grow faster on YouTube, for sure. Because if you think about what are people searching for a lot on YouTube, right? But that being said, I think it works for every single business. And what's cool about it is that you don't need 10,000 subscribers to be successful. You don't need even 1,000 subscribers to see revenue and leads coming in, right? You can be a very small channel. I have one-on-one clients that, because of their niche, they're still hovering around, 150 subscribers, but they're still bringing in leads consistently from it, right? So it's because it's that search engine, as long as you're trying to reach the audience that you're wanting to reach, it doesn't matter, because you're making money off the back end of your sales machine.
Yeah.
Right.
And tell me, so coming back to the results, to the leads that you can expect from the video. So when can you, like, if you post one video, do you have any chances that you will get leads from this? Or you have to have it more, like you were saying, it will be compound effect, right? The more videos you have on the topic, the more your videos will be showed by YouTube. But how soon you can expect leads?
Yeah, that's a tricky question, because it's very dependent on what niche you are. If you've done the work on the back end to optimize your video properly, what the topic is about, how popular is it, something that people are really talking about right now? There are a lot of competition around that. Like, there's a lot of factors that would go into that. But I mean, you definitely could see results off of one video. You definitely could. You could definitely see results after 5 videos. And the amount of leads, again, depends on how much traffic you're getting, how well you optimized it. But you definitely can see results right away. How big those results are, obviously the more consistent you are, the more results you're going to get, just like anything you do in business. But it's definitely more of a growth long-term strategy than I would say something like, ads, for example. If you put money into Facebook ads, you're most likely going to see traffic, clicks right away, right? Organic social media, no matter what platform you're on, isn't necessarily like that. Could you see results? Absolutely. Is it guaranteed? Not necessarily. So I hope that helps.
Is there any conversion rate? So for example, is there any statistics that, for example, if 100 people will see your video, then percentage will opt into your freebie? Is there any statistics like this, or?
Yeah, so I actually have a YouTube calculator that I love to do. So if anyone listening is curious about their niche and how many leads they could potentially get, send me a message on Instagram and I'd be happy to do a lead calculator quick call with you, because it's really fun to see how many leads you can generate. So what this calculator is based on is, once you do keyword research around one title, you plug that in and it will tell you how many monthly searches those keywords are getting, right? And so from there, I always like to say that roughly we're going to be conservative, 1% of those people see your video in search results, right? And then roughly 3% of those people then decide that they're going to click on your video and watch it. And then I would like to say another 3% of those people will click and go over into your funnel. So that's kind of some conservative numbers when you're first starting out to understand how many leads you could potentially get from one video.
Yeah, and probably a lot depends also on the lead magnet itself, if it's interesting.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
And tell me, how important is the image? I understand the title is very important because it contains the keywords, but how important is the image that, is always together promoting the video?
Yeah, so your thumbnail, I would say your thumbnail is up there on one of the most important things, actually. And a lot of times people overlook this. So I'm glad you brought it up, because if you think about it, right, your video shows up in search results, but it doesn't show up alone. It shows up with all these other videos, right, and front and behind it. And so what is going to make the viewer choose your video over someone else's in that list is most likely going to be the thumbnail. And so if you don't have a thumbnail, for one, which is a big mistake I see a lot of the times, people aren't going to click on your video, right? And then if it's not engaging or it's boring or it's not eye-catching, the likelihood of them choosing one of your competitors is pretty high. So we would want to make sure it's really, really catchy and optimized too.
And do you suggest to have, a different thumbnail for each individual video, or to have the same just to build the awareness, the brand awareness?
What do you mean by different topic? Like you're teaching something?
Each video that you should have, for each video that you publish, you should have a different thumbnail, or it should be the same?
For the thumbnail, I would say, it needs to be cohesive to your brand. Like if your brand colors are, blue and white and brown, you wouldn't want to put like red and green in your thumbnails, right? You want to keep it consistent to that and consistent to your fonts and things like that, so that, as time builds, people are going to start to recognize your videos, right? If anyone listening watches YouTube and has big YouTubers that they're subscribed to, you'll probably notice when their videos come up on your For You page, right? Because they've branded themselves. So you want to keep that in mind when you're creating your thumbnails too.
Okay. The next question, what app do you use to edit the video? Do you edit the video at all?
Yes, absolutely edit your videos.
I'm putting raw.
Yeah, you want to take out, when you're naturally speaking, you have fumbles, even if you're listening to this, we've, fumbled on our words a couple of times or whatever. So you want to, take those things out. You want to keep it really sharp and keep it entertaining for people, because watch time on YouTube is one of the biggest metrics that they look at. And it's really what's going to make YouTube want to continue to push your videos out to more people. So the longer you can keep people's attention, the better. So keep that in mind when you're creating your scripts, right? And filming your YouTube videos. And that comes into editing too. Attention resets and, making things come up on the screen, transitions, things like that are going to keep people entertained is really, really important.
So content is not enough.
Content is the most important thing. I will definitely say that, like someone could shoot a really crappy video that's not value driven at all and make it the most beautiful video in the world. It's probably not going to be successful, right? I say make it entertaining and make people keep watching, but you can do that with very, very simple editing. Like, I don't want people to think that it needs to be complicated or that you need to have these crazy motion graphics or all these things, because you really do not. Like, you could film these on your phone, edit them in something like InShot on your phone, an app, and make sure that they're really concise and the value is really good. Throw a coupled graphics on there and call it a day, and your videos will still perform.
And by the way, you were talking about the time. Is there any suggested time length of the video, or?
I always like to say that your video should be as long as it needs to be. And I know that's very vague, but if your topic is, 3 steps to growing on Instagram, for example, I wouldn't want to be rambling on for 20 minutes talking about each thing, right? If it's just me rambling, you want it to be as long as the topic needs it to be, for it to be concise and interesting. Yeah, because if you, for example, you have an interview and it's interesting, you don't want to cut, the time is out, 20 minutes. Yeah, exactly. And you'll know, right? And you're the expert in that field too. So you're going to know that, oh, I'm rambling, or I need to cut that piece off, or I repeated myself, or whatever it is. And storytelling is really fun too. So if your niche or your topic allows for that, throw some story in there. It keeps people entertained, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What equipment do you need to make a video? You already said that you even record, you can record even on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're first starting out, I mean, the new iPhones and Androids now, they have 4K video capability. So they're better than a lot of cameras were even just a couple of years ago. So I would say your camera on your phone's perfectly fine. The first thing I would ever upgrade would be your audio. So you can get like a pretty affordable wired mic on Amazon for around $30 Canadian, $20 American, pretty affordable. And that would be the first place I would start, low budget. From there, maybe a ring light would be your next kind of upgrade.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, I recently bought a camera that is for my laptop, and it's from Logitech, and I'm very pleased because it has also the lighting and it has sound correction, so it's all in one. I don't know how it works. It's not very professional, but still, it was like I paid €100 and it has 3-in-1 lighting, camera, and mic.
That's great.
Yeah, so just to show that, you don't have to have like a super fancy equipment. You don't have to spend a lot of money to start.
Oh, no. No, I know a girl on YouTube, very successful. She's gotten her silver YouTube award, everything, and she ran her entire channel off of her webcam on her laptop. So you do not need special equipment. And again, we go back to that biggest mistake we made at the beginning of our business, right? About holding yourself back and like overthinking. A lot of people use tech as like as an overthinking of, well, I need this before I can start, or I need the lighting, or I need a camera. You don't. Like, just start and work on getting 1% better with every upload.
Yeah. What are the key elements that your video should include to drive leads?
A lot of things. The key things. As a beginner, you definitely need that thumbnail that we talked about. That's huge. Keyword research. That's another huge point. Like, please do it before you start recording your video too. That's another big mistake I see, is that people will come up with an idea, they'll record their video, and then they'll do keyword research. But sometimes you'll find that, maybe that topic that you thought was a great idea doesn't actually have much search traffic. So you want to do that first. Those are probably the two biggest things. From there would just be making sure that your video is catchy and keeps people's attention.
Would you mention the lead magnet in the video, or just leave in the description without mentioning in the video?
No, you want to mention it in your video, because it's a lot of people don't necessarily look at the description of your video when they're watching, so you need to mention it to them, right? People like to be guided and told what to do. So definitely you would say something like, if you want to learn more about YouTube, make sure to check out my free master class by clicking the link below. It's usually what I'd say, right? If that's what you're driving people to.
It always makes me funny when I see people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So funny.
It happens. I mean, you don't have to point, but I like to point because it just drives that viewer again to be like, okay, it's below. I'm gonna go check that out, right? And you want to make sure that
when you have seen few videos, you expect it.
Yes, it's totally true. Totally true.
So funny.
Yeah. And you'll find your groove of what you like to do too.
Yeah, but would you suggest to mention the freebie at the very beginning or at the end of the video?
I would say both.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, keep it organic. You don't want it to be all of a sudden you're in the mid thought and you're like, oh, check out my freebie below, right? And you want to make sure that it's makes sense with the topic you're talking about, right? It's going to be the next problem that they're going to have from watching your video is going to be, the answer is your lead magnet. So that's why they're going to go download it, right? Because they want to know more information on that. So that might mean that you have a couple different freebies that you're offering.
Yeah. So it's also good to really plan your videos. So it's not like, okay, I'm sitting and recording whatever I thought about will be interesting, but just to plan, have a script and plan the freebies as well and so on. Okie dokie. Okay, last question because we're getting long now. How much time do you spend on making the videos, and what frequency and length of the videos do you recommend?
Yeah, so time is very dependent, right? So how I teach YouTube and in my courses and memberships, if you join them, is I teach you how to batch record your videos because it saves you so much time. So for my one-on-one clients, I do this too, and it's the video lead machine method. It's the 3-phase method that I teach, and it's all about batching. So we'll do 12 to 26 videos in one sitting, which sounds like a lot.
12?
12 to 26. Yeah, depending on the client, we'll do 12 to 26 videos at a time. But what's cool about that is, you're doing all your strategy, all your prep, all your research beforehand. So when it's time to sit down in front of the camera, you only have one job, which is just to record, right? And you're batching all of that in one day. And because you're already in a groove, it becomes faster. Your equipment's set up, you're already ready. If you're a woman listening, you've got your makeup and your hair done. You're not having to do that every single day trying to record a video. You can take down your equipment all at the same time. All that's done in batches, and it saves you hours and hours of time. And then you just edit in batches, right? You put it up onto your social calendar in batches. Everything's done in batches that saves you so much time.
And what about when you record the videos? Do you and especially so many videos during one time, if you are batching, how do you remember the content? Can you read from the screen, or because I cannot imagine to remember content for 26 videos to record.
Oh yes. No, I mean, if someone could do that, they would have like a photographic memory. But okay. We do it different ways. So everyone will kind of have a different preference. You could use a teleprompter if you want and read the script. Some people do really well doing that, and you can download a free teleprompter app on your phone that comes across the screen as you're recording. That's option one. Option two is, you can create an outline for yourself and stick it right in front of the camera. And some people like that because they're better speaking off the cuff, and they're experts in their field. They just want to kind of run with it. So that's option number two. And option number three is to keep the script on like a printout piece of paper or on an iPad or something like that on your lap, and look down, get your first sentence, look up at the camera, speak your sentence, pause, look down, do it in chunks. Like, don't try to be a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. And I think people don't expect, they are not professional like speaker on TV that, look straight to the camera all the time. So people expect that you will, look somewhere around you.
Yeah. And you show your personality too, like if you have little mess ups or you say something or you have a little blooper or something, keep that in your video. Sometimes that's endearing and it's what people relate to. That's perfectly fine. And you can cut out a lot of stuff in editing, like I said. So don't worry too much if you're like looking down and catching your breath, or if you make a mistake, just pause, regroup, repeat the sentence again, and you can cut that out.
Yeah, perfect. And also, for just the beginners, I would say that you don't have to worry too much about editing, because I understand that it would be much better video, but also you want to show as you are, because people will be working later on with you, so they have to get to know you, your, how you behave, how you speak, and so on. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, don't overthink it. Don't make it too perfect.
Absolutely, it does not have to be perfect. Yeah, no, it's more about showing up consistently than it is about perfection.
Yeah, and about the consistency, how often would you recommend to post the videos?
I would say, the great spot to be when you're first starting out would be once a week. If you're like, oh, I just can't handle that, that's too much, and you want to build up, I would say, start with twice a month and then build up from there.
Right. And is it important to post on the same day, on the same time every week, for example, or it doesn't matter?
I would say it's preferable to post on the same day. Does it need to be the same time? Not necessarily. That doesn't matter too much. But on the same day is nice as you start growing and getting subscribers, because I like to think about it like your favorite TV show, right? If you think back before Netflix and all those things, your favorite TV show came on at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, right? And so if your subscribers kind of get to know that oh, Melissa has a new video every single Wednesday, they're going to start to look out for that. And that's what you want, right? That's when you're building a loyal fan base. So I think it's more important as you grow for sure, but keeping that consistency and getting in a routine off the bat is really helpful.
Great. And one more thing, one thing that you would like people to remember from this podcast video. And
yeah, I would say the number one thing is that don't feel overwhelmed by YouTube, because it really can be as simple as you want it to be, and it really can plug into whatever marketing strategy you have currently. And really, if you do it properly, it's only going to save you time, not cost you more time.
Yeah, this is a good point. Yeah, you have to know how to do it to budget, because it really saves you time.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want to learn how to do that, I would be more than happy to show you inside my group coaching program. So would love to have you inside.
Yeah, so Melissa, share please if you have any freebie, and share also if somebody would like to get in contact with you, where is the best place to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on all social platforms at Wonderment Creative. Probably the best place to send me a direct message would be Instagram. And my freebies, I have a couple different ones that I'll send you. I have a mini course, I think would probably be the best one. And it's showing you how to create your very first YouTube video using only your phone. So inside we go through how to find content ideas, how to feel comfortable on camera, and then how to film and edit using your phone.
Brilliant. And I will leave all the all the links in the description of this video. So don't worry if you didn't catch up, it will be written.
Awesome. Yeah. And I'll put the link for VMA, which is the group coaching program. I'll give that one to you as well.
Perfect. Melissa, thank you very much for your time, for being with us and sharing all your knowledge. And I will leave all the links to contact you in the description. So thanks, Emil. Bye-bye.
Perfect. Thanks. Bye.